going on, you guys? Welcome back to our latest edition of Raiders Latest News, where we bring you the Raiders Latest News. Now, today is a day that we can take a breath, be happy that the Raiders are, in fact, bringing in John Spytek and Mr. Carroll, Pete Carroll. It has taken way too long for this team to actually be competitors and be a team that people are afraid of. And yes, the big news is that the Chiefs and the Eagles will be playing in the Super Bowl. We understand all of that. But today we are here to discuss all of the latest news. And it'll a lot of it will be about Carroll and Spytek. But let's just jump right into the news none of us want to talk about. Yes, the Chiefs and the Eagles are going to rematch, essentially. Great. Fantastic. It is what it is at this point. I think that you kind of take a look at this and you kind of like, okay, well, this is like the worst possible, I don't want to say scenario that could have played out for Raiders fans or even just the NFL, but this is the worst possible scenario that could have played out for Raiders fans in the NFL because, like, the Eagles should take care of business, but the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Plus, they have the help of the refs, so there is that. But I just could it be any other set of teams? Like, I really wanted a Bills Commanders Super Bowl. That would have been fantastic. In fact, I would have loved that. But it is what it is. The Chiefs and Eagles got a rematch from a couple of years ago, and we'll see if the Eagles can make good on that. Speaking of making good, Dave Ziegler. If you don't remember Dave Ziegler, he is the former GM of the Las Vegas Raiders, the one before Tom Telesco. Now, we liked Dave Ziegler. He was out of the Belichick tree. Excuse me, I haven't had my coffee this morning, so please bear with me. But he was out of the Belichick tree, spent some time with McDaniels in New England, and really just saw how they built that team and all those super teams and everything. And now he's going to be the assistant GM of the Titans. I honestly think it's a good move for the Titans. I felt like they're in a position where they've got to make some calls here. They got to be able to, let's just say, get that franchise back on track. And yes, you've got teams, you've got general managers that spent time with teams that have had a lot of success throughout that entire organization. So Dave Ziegler getting the job as the assistant GM for the Tennessee Titans. Quite honestly, I think that could be absolutely huge for the Titans. I think that they probably will start coming for the rest of the NFL pretty darn quick here. So good to see there. Speaking of John Spytek and Carroll, so we talked about it. We've been kind of alluding to this the entire, I don't want to say offseason, but for how fast it's been an offseason. But John Spytek and Pete Carroll are the absolute studs that are going to lead this franchise back to the promised land. And yes, they have their very first introductory press conference today that we will be very glad to bring you the latest on that. Just kind of talking about coach speak, talking about philosophies and all that different stuff. So those press conferences will be held later today. We'll keep you updated on the latest for those and the big takeaways from those. Speaking of takeaways, so back in the day, we remember Mr. Rich Gannon. He was a fantastic quarterback that came over for the Raiders from my former team, the Vikings. Now, when I say fantastic, I mean Gannon was a stud when he completely revived his career with the Raiders. Let's just be honest about that. But Pete Carroll, again coming out this week and saying that Pete Carroll is an absolute stud hire, and I agree. I think that a lot of people in the general consensus about it is that this was the right hire for the Raiders. This was the hire that they needed to make, both from a leadership and leader in terms of men, but also from a draft perspective, from a getting the most out of players perspective, from a really revitalizing this franchise perspective. And so Pete Carroll, with Rich Gannon, I think that this is kind of a sign of what's bigger and what's to come, is that, everybody kind of has the same opinion about it. And that I don't think that if you look at Pete Carroll's career, you cannot judge him and say that he has ever been a loser. I think that he, whether it was with his time with the Jets, the Patriots, or the Seahawks, I think that you can see a guy that continually led franchises and found a way to do it. Now, speaking of Pete Carroll's ability to lead franchises, so Geno Smith came out, I think after it was Pete Carroll was hired, and put out a post of him hugging Pete Carroll. Now, Geno Smith this year is still going to play for the Seahawks. I think if they cut him, it'd be like $13.5 million dead. But wouldn't it be interesting if we could get a reunification of Geno Smith and Pete Carroll? Now, I think that Geno Smith is one of the latest examples of how Pete Carroll has revived somebody's career, but it would be fun because, yes, I love Aiden O'Connell, and I think that he should be the starter, at least to start out the regular season in 2025 and beyond. But It would be fun to at least get a little bit more competent quarterback competition in here. And Geno Smith has had his team playing in a lot of great facets, and he can spread the ball around, and he's done a fantastic job of reviving his career. And I think that he would be a good fit with the Raiders, and I don't think you'd have to give up a lot to get him. In fact, I think the Eagles could be looking in a couple different directions here in the not too different future from the quarterbacks and everything. But that is it. That is the latest as it pertains to the Raiders' latest news, silly songs with Larry, or silly news with Colton, as somebody said in our comment section last week. So we appreciate you guys for that. So like we said, the major news for today is that, yes, Pete Carroll and John Spytek will be giving their introductory press conferences for the Raiders later today. We will be sure to once again have the latest news for you on that and the key takeaways. I think it's going to be huge. I think it's 11 Eastern time, so that's 10 Mountain Time. I was never good on the time changes. But anyway, like we said, we're excited to bring you that and excited for this new phase of the Las Vegas Raiders franchise. But overall, let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you on the next video.